What up, Facebook? It's Mike, your mentor, coming at you live here Sunday night for the Sunday sermon. Hope you guys had a good weekend and you're getting ready to get back to the grind for whatever it is you do. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching the replay of this, thank you very much and welcome. If you're new and you're just checking this out for the first time, basically, the focus of this page is just to help guys answer the higher calling on their life, right? As husbands, as fathers, as leaders in their community, because it's a bunch of crazy stuff going on in the world, and in my opinion, it is a direct reflection of the lack of honor and the lack of leadership that men have shown in this world as we've ran away from our marriages, as we've ran away from raising our children, as we've ran away from our responsibilities in the community for things that are easy, right? Alcohol, drugs, being a workaholic, pornography, a multitude of things that as guys we tend to lean into to try to chase comfort and take the easy path, because being a parent, being a husband, being a leader in our community, it isn't easy. It takes hard work. It's a battle every day. So my goal with coming to you guys on the Sunday sermon is just to discuss some of the things that I implement into my life that kind of help me stay focused and serve as a good reminder of how we answer that higher calling as men. And when we accept responsibility for who we are and what we're doing and the difference that we have the opportunity to make in other people's lives each and every other day, we can and will change this world and make this a better place for us and for our kids. So let me share my screen here, and we can jump into it tonight and get busy with this. All right, so the Sunday sermon, week 29, and I labeled this the Core 4. And I always like my little graphics or images that I put on these things. So, we got a little picture here from Leonardo da Vinci, probably one of the greatest inventors of all time. And I can't remember exactly what this is called with the man inside the circle, but basically, it's supposed to represent balance in the perfect picture of a man. And we're going to talk about the 4 parts of every man and what we need to do to be able to walk confidently in those, and just some things to think about, right? So maybe you grab a pen and a piece of paper, bust out your phone, and open up Evernote, take some notes, and see what speaks to you, because this is some good stuff. So this week, this stuff isn't my content. This comes from a movement called Wake Up Warrior. I've never attended this. I've watched a few of their trainings, and I just want to warn you, it's not for everybody, right? The leader of this movement, Garrett J. White, he's a super intense dude. I think that he has the right. What he's trying to do is a good thing. The way that he goes about it, some people might not necessarily agree with, but that's not for me to comment on or to say anything about. I just want to give you a warning if you go and you check that out. The dude's intense. That's how he is. So when he talks about this, the core 4, he's talking about these 4 sections: body, being, balance, and business. And I thought this was good stuff. And as I was putting together the content around the Mike Your Mentor page, God just reminded me of this stuff. And if there's something that I see out there that I think is worthwhile, that brings a benefit, or it can help us answer that higher calling as men, then I'm gonna present it. Doesn't matter what maybe the root source of that is. So let's dive in. So the first section is body, right? And our body can be looked at as a temple. The Bible speaks a lot about that, of our temple, and treating our body as a temple. It can be looked at as an asset, right? Something that you can use to help you, something that you need to build up. Can be used as a tool, once again, something to help you get what it is that you need out of life, or help you get wherever you're trying to go. And then it can even be looked at as a weapon. Protection is very important, especially with a lot of stuff that goes on outside of our homes, and being able to use our body in the right way to protect our loved ones is very important for a lot of people. So the fastest way to feeling better about yourself is through your body, and that means taking care of it. And the way that I steward this area in my life, and I try to keep it super simple, because when it's simple, you're most likely to stay consistent with that. And so not every day, but 3 times a week, my routine is I try to get a good workout in at the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I used to work out predominantly at night, but my schedule's kind of changed here in the last couple of months. So I'm trying to do a better job of getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and getting in the gym and getting that workout done, so I have the rest of the day to do everything else. But yeah, throughout the week I'm hitting a full body workout and getting a good sweat on, because that makes me feel better about myself, wakes me up, keeps me energized throughout the day. And then the second way that I steward this area of my life is I try to fuel properly, right? Like, I watch what goes in my mouth. And to be honest with you, probably the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, I've been off my game when it comes to this. Man, I've just been shoving all kinds of stuff down my mouth, and I've gotten away from my discipline when it comes to this. Usually, I like to eat pretty clean throughout the week, and then Saturday is my cheat day. I won't watch basically what I'm eating. I'll dive into my what is the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Doggone it. Well, anyways, I'll eat stuff I normally wouldn't eat during the week. Like, I'm a big fan of nachos, so I'll eat like nachos. Or maybe that's when I have some donuts or some cake, or something like that. That you need to look at and consume in moderation. So how you're working out and how you feel yourself properly will affect your body and the way that it feels, and it has a direct reflection or a direct effect on the type of life you live, and what you're able to do. And if you're not taking care of your body, your health goes out the door, and there's not enough money in the world to get your health back once it starts to go. And the harder and the longer you get away from taking care of yourself, the harder it is to get back on that horse and ride. So the second category that is talked about in the Core 4 is being. And this can be looked at as your connection to God, or your connection to purpose. My mentor says that everybody, or the people that are able to overcome tremendous amounts of rough times or handle adversity and persevere, are people that have a higher connection to a purpose greater than themselves. Whether that's a spiritual connection, so like I said, to God, or they believe in a mission, right? Something that's bigger than just their selfishness and their worrying about themselves. So whether that's world hunger, I don't know, whether that's trafficking, there's all kinds of things out there that people wrap their passion around, and that people believe are good causes. So having something like that in your life really helps you when you run into tough times in life, because it's not a matter of if you're going to have those tough times come about. It's just simply a matter of when those things come across. So what I do to steward this area of my life, once again, I try to keep it simple, to stay consistent, and that's for me. I have daily devotions. So when I wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock, I have a routine that I go through, and that is me getting with one of my other mentors through this video series I have, and just going through a chapter in the Bible, and just pulling out all the context and looking at that verse by verse, and really just pulling it apart and looking at it to see what it says and what it means and what was going on, and just increasing my knowledge about that, so that I can know. I don't want to, anything that I've ever put effort towards in my life, like I want to know as much about it as possible, so that I'm able to discern for myself what is true or not. So I take that same approach here. So I try to get that every single day. I try to pray every single day. Just get those worries and those things that keep me up late at night, and just share those, and then just pray for others, the people that I meet in my life, and the people that I know that are going through a lot worse situations than what I am, and are dealing with things that I've either dealt with before, or things that in some cases I can't imagine what they're dealing with, or what that's like to deal with it. So just lifting others up. And then another thing I try to do is memorize some scripture. And the reason I do that is so, when a problem comes along, I got something that I can fall back on, and I can use that to remind myself, and to just chew on that, and to encourage myself that maybe things aren't as bad as I seem. And it serves as kind of an anchor point, right, when you're able to pull that nugget out. And there's things that I memorize that aren't scriptural, that lend to my confidence, and remind me to be a better person, or how to look at a certain situation, right? Change my perspective of things, and to help me be more optimistic, and not see things completely as a problem, but just another opportunity for growth. So the third part of the Core 4 is balance. And the way that what this looks like is, the exercise that Gary J. White shares is to take your cell phone out, and then you want to create a video or text 2 people in your life. And he does this every single day. He recommends you doing this every single day. And you want to love, honor, and appreciate that person, right? So really share, what that person means to you. And then make this a daily deposit into people's lives, or make this a daily habit of making these deposits into people's lives, and helping fill up their emotional cup. And when you do this, it's amazing what it does for you when you're able to show gratitude on this type of level. And then obviously it builds your relationship with that other person, or with those other 2 people. And then why is this important? Well, for one, you don't want life to happen and then be like, I wish I would have. Part of my story is my brother committed suicide, and I was so grateful that I got to tell my brother I loved him the last time I saw him alive. I often think about what that would be like, or how much maybe that would haunt me if that wasn't the case. And I know so many people that a loved one has passed away, and they weren't able to express that, or they, for whatever reason, right, sometimes we get in these stupid arguments, and we let those things grow and fester to where we don't talk to those people that we love, and we don't express those types of things. And then something happens, and it never fails, we wish that we would have squashed that beef, or fix that problem, right, and re-engage that person, and been able to share what was really on our heart with that person, and how we feel for them. And there's no pain like losing someone and regretting not being able to have seen them one last time and told them how much you love them. And then secondly, this is important because uh, the last thing that you want to happen when you're trying to execute something big, like grow your business, or do something for your family, or make the next move in your life to better yourself, is an erosion of your mind. And when you're negotiating that, or when you're in the midst of taking that test, or when you're trying to close that deal, whatever that looks like, for you to think about, man, shoot, I miss my kids and my wife, or man, I missed out in that on that opportunity, right? You want to be able to have clarity of mind in that situation, so that you can navigate that correctly and not have any type of distractions. And then the last thing that Gary J. White talks about in the Core 4, and these are all things that you should be doing every day. He talks about business. And then he says, without money and income, everything else has a tendency to disappear. When the income part is in check, it's easier to get the other three areas in alignment. And there's been times in my life where I've had no money, and there's been times in my life where I've had lots of money. And I don't think that having money is a bad thing. It's interesting, we were talking about this last night at a friend's house around a fire. It's, that lust or that desire for money so bad that you're willing to compromise your ethics and your character and do whatever you can to get that's when the idea of money becomes bad. And going back to what Gary J. White was saying, the times in my life where I haven't had money, it definitely makes it harder to do certain things, to contribute to worthy causes, to be able to support people in whatever they're doing, to be able to freely bless people in different ways to make their life easier. Uh, and if you own a business, you should concentrate on these things daily. First one is marketing, getting your message out there, sharing what you do with others. And that's sales, right? Marketing is what generates the opportunity for deals to come in, and then sales are simply, you closing that deal so you can bring that revenue into the business. And then three, working on automation, being able to remove yourself from the daily activities of business so you can work on the business instead of in the business. And that's really how you bring scale to any type of business, is by setting up those processes and those automations. And then that brings us to the fourth thing, which is systems, right? Without, and that's the culmination of all these things. And when you don't have these systems in place, you're not able to scale and achieve massive growth in your business. And so not only should you do these every day, but you should make it a practice of trying to teach on these every single day in your own capacity. And I would argue that it's one thing to know something, it's another thing to live these things out every single day. And when you're able to teach others these things, it not only enables you to grow, but it also reinforces what you know, and reinforces you taking that action every single day. So the things that he says you should teach every day: marketing, sales, automation, and systems. Once again, so do those things and teach those things in every single day. So a couple questions to ponder before we get out of here is, which one of these four do you need to work on? Right? Like, what does this look like for your life? Because we all have deficiencies in, I would argue, at least one area of our life. Many of us have deficiencies in a couple of these different areas. So for me personally, it's my body, getting that back in balance with working out and eating. And then I would say it's communicating with others about how I feel about them, being more intentional about that. And then the third one I would say for me is just growing my business and doing the things that takes. And then the next question is, what can you do to implement these into your daily schedule? Remember, start small, right? So like, if you don't work out every day, don't go to the gym, just crush yourself for 2 hours. Very it's not likely that you're going to continue that habit. You're better off just, going to the gym, taking 10 minutes and walk, and then leave. And then the next day do 11 minutes, and the next day do 12, and just build slowly but surely. When you eat an elephant, in small bites, it's more than likely that you're going to finish eating that elephant than trying to eat the whole thing at one time. So keep it simple. And then remember, nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. In any area of your life, there's always something that you have to give up in order to go to the next level or get something out of it. And sacrifice doesn't necessarily have to mean have a negative connotation surrounding it, right? Like sometimes there's things that you need to give up, or you need to delegate to others because you've already mastered those things, and there's no sense in you continuing to do those things when you can easily pass those things on to someone else, which frees up your time to do something bigger, or something that is, I guess, a higher producing revenue practice if we're talking about business, for example. And then I would say, the next thing, hit singles, right? So this is just a reminder to keep it simple. You don't need to go out there and swing for the fences every day. If you just focus on hitting singles and moving the needle just a little bit every single day, that persistence will pay off, and you'll grow much faster, and you'll grow a lot bigger than a lot of other people who are out there swinging for the fences every single day, because it's easier to hit singles than it is to hit home runs. And then, stick to the fundamentals. I love this saying, chop wood and carry water every day. Stick to the fundamentals every single day, build on those fundamentals, and have a solid foundation and in all areas of your life, and that will help you reach your goals and become a better person. And since we're speaking about being better men, becoming a better father, becoming a better husband, becoming a better person in our community. So that's it tonight for the Sunday sermon. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys tomorrow in My Life Monday. If you need anything, send me a PM here. Happy to help you out however I can. It's interesting, I had somebody reach out to me a couple of days ago that I really haven't talked to since I was in school. And me and this person, we got a little bit of history, and I was telling my wife how interesting it was that this person's coming back into my life after all this time. So, the message is definitely affecting a lot of people. Not saying that it's about me, because it's not. But these things that I talk about every day here on my page, I think are things that I would dare say all men deal with, that all men think about at times. It's just whether or not, one, we want to admit it, and two, whether we have somebody safe in our lives that we can be authentic with and really share these things. So before we're out of here, I just want to encourage you, be yourself, show up as yourself. It's not, I know life likes to make it like it's a competition, but it really isn't a contest to try to wear a mask and be something that you're not. Be realistic, own where you're at, and then work on whatever areas you need to improve to get to those results that you want. So I appreciate you guys being with me, and we'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.